woman who accused Duke University lacrosse players of raping her nearly 20 years ago. The story was a national firestorm. She now says she lied about the encounter. Crystal Mangum first made the claims back in 2006, saying 3 members of the school's lacrosse team her after she had been hired to dance at a house party the team was throwing. Police charged David Evans, Colin Finnerty, and Reed Seligman after Mangum's accusations. But after much back and forth and the city's DA stepping down from the case, North Carolina's Attorney General later dismissed the charges, citing a lack of evidence. But now, going on the record on a podcast nearly 20 years later, Crystal Mangum says she was lying the whole time.
I testified falsely against them by saying that they raped me when they didn't. And that was wrong. And I betrayed the trust of a lot of other people who believed in me. And made up a story that wasn't true because I wanted validation from people and not from God. And that was wrong when God already loved me for who I was. Regardless, I didn't need to seek validation from him because I already had validation from him. I just didn't know it. And I hurt my brothers. And I hope that they can forgive me. And I want them to know that I love them. And they didn't deserve that. And I hope they can forgive me. And that I hope that they can heal and trust God and know that God loves them and that God is loving them through me, letting them know that they're valuable and that they didn't deserve that.
Joining me now is CNN's Gene Casares, who reported heavily on this case. Gene, give us a sense of how impactful and controversial these accusations and the result were at that time. I remember, you remember this story all too well. I mean, this was literally a firestorm of a story back in 2006. The entire country was watching it. And to hear this admission all these years later, it's just extraordinary.
And 3 young.
So this is a very interesting one. This is a booty clapper that went to dance for these guys. And then she ends up saying this, and obviously you're guilty until proven innocent. And another thing, this is the South, right? So the fact that, because you normally see this in reverse, right? You normally see a bunch of black dudes and a white woman, and she cries and says this, that, and the third. And who knows if it would have been dismissed or whatever. That's neither here nor there, because race plays a big part in law enforcement, in the justice system. How these things go is crazy that almost 20 years later, she's recanting it or coming out saying it didn't happen and that she found God and she calling them her brothers and stuff like that. Bro, this is some serious stuff that ladies do, and ladies just take it with a grain of salt, like, Like, you can really destroy someone's reputation. They can lose their job. They can lose everything. And they'll be walking around with this scarlet letter, for lack of a better term, and nobody wants to mess with you because you were accused of doing the worst crime ever. So this is just crazy. And I wonder what prompted her to do this, other than she had an epiphany or God came into her life. She found religion. I don't know. But this is bananas. Let's go.
Lives were destroyed at that time. You know, it was 2006. It was Durham, North Carolina. I was there. I was covering this. And Crystal Mangum made the accusation that she was by David Evans, Colin Finnerty, and Reed Seligman. And there were charges, very serious sexual assault charges that had terms of imprisonment for the rest of their lives. And in Durham, that's where it started. And everyone took Crystal Mangum's side because she came out with details, very specific, graphic details. And the young men said, we didn't do this. But Duke University did not stand by them either. They were just really silent. But everyone was focused that she was telling the truth. They weren't. Then it went to a national level. and their names became household names.
Mm-hmm.
And they were taken into court on these very serious charges. And they were in college. They were at Duke University. Furthermore, the lacrosse team, their entire season was canceled. The coach was fired.
Wow.
So there were ramifications from it. Now, 1 year later, the attorney general exonerated them of innocence. But there's so much more to the story. I was in the courtroom, and Mike Nifong, the district attorney of Durham, was charged with criminal contempt and then also for disbarment of his bar license. And it came out what the truth was. One of the defense teams had a young attorney, just got out of law school, and he would stay up at night reading the thousands of pages of DNA evidence. And he found something in one of those thousands of pages that confirmed that their DNA was not a part of DNA that they had collected from her. And that DNA evidence is actually one of the major factors that they were exonerated. And that came out during Mike Nifong's trial. He was convicted, by the way, the district attorney who had stood by her and had done many interviews about how she was so viciously. And then they reclaimed their lives. But right there, I believe that's David Evans.
Well, I'm going to stop it right there. So the DA was convicted. The coach was fired. These guys' rep was tarnished, all because this woman started a lie. And when they collected the DNA, with these ladies, when they say this a lot of times, man, what's weird is that in some of these cases, they find several different DNAs and when they collect it from these women, which is crazy, man. It's crazy that this is going on, and the fact that there was none of these guys in there. So I don't know. I don't know how long y'all can do the math on how long DNA stays in a woman, but this is crazy, bro. This is crazy. The ramifications it just spreads, and the fact that a lot of these people they sleep at night very well, knowing that they are lying. Man, the amount of money, everything that goes into this just because someone says some stuff like this, man. So the justice system is something else. But let's get back to it.
It's right there. He said that he, at the time, because he was in the courtroom during Mike Nifong's trial, he wanted to become an attorney because he wanted to help others who were wrongfully accused. And I don't know if that happened, but that is what he wanted at that time. But they'll always be the three Duke lacrosse players, right?
Yeah.
If you say the name Colin Finnerty, especially if you live in Duke, in Durham, you're going to know who that is.
And Gene, that school's lacrosse program was just smeared. I mean, and I'm sure and the school just suffered major reputational damage after that. Is there anything that could come as in part of the fallout of this? I mean, could there be some sort of lawsuit? I mean, I suppose there might not be much to sue for here. It doesn't sound like Crystal has a whole lot of assets on her.
Well, she's in prison.
Yeah,
she's in prison right now for murder. And so that's true. There were several lawsuits at the time, one against Duke, another against Durham, the city of Durham. But now that she has come out on the record saying it, let's see legally what is available, because it has been almost 20 years. And I'm sure her resources are very, very sparse at this point. But we have tried to contact the three now men involved in this, their attorneys, and a local paper said that there are not comments at this point of their reaction to all of this.
Wow. Gene, all right, Gene, stand by. Really appreciate you being on with us this morning. I do want to go to Caterina Di Pasquale. She is the podcaster who interviewed Crystal Mangum when this admission was offered up. Caterina, I understand you're on the phone with us.
So based upon that interview, I'm assuming she's in prison right here, because she's, from what I read here, she's been in prison since 2013 for deleting her boyfriend by stabbing him with a knife. He was 46 years old then, and went to the hospital and died 10 days later. So, man, she's scheduled to be released from prison in 2026. So she's going to do her little 13 years. That's basically a year from now. But this lady's a piece of work saying this. She's been sitting in prison all this time, and this was 7 years after this trial. She committed this act. So let's see what else is going on.
Tell us a little bit about this interview Yeah. How did this come about?
So I'm a New Yorker who lives in Durham, North Carolina. I started my show Let's Talk with Cat.com, and I was looking for an interesting interview. In my circle, people have talked about Crystal, and there was so much mystery around it for me because it seemed like some people viewed her as a pariah and some people still viewed her as a victim. And so I just thought, I want to find out for myself who this person is. And I wanted to see the reasonings behind decision making and, just that's where I was heading.
Yeah. But Kat, I mean, tell me about this admission. I mean, she just blurted it out. Did you have to press her? How did that go down?
So my intentions had nothing to do with getting any confessions out of Crystal. I contacted her via our online platform, and I asked her if I could interview her. And the protocol of this prison was that she needs to mail me a letter and confirm if she's down for the interview. She did. She mailed me a letter, and in the letter, she said that she would like to give me an interview, but also she would like to apologize to Duke lacrosse players.
And so she just says,
it was surprising.
Yeah, and she just says she made it up. It was a false accusation. Does she say why?
But I want the pub. Yes. Well, so yes, if you watch the full interview, there are like about 5 questions before she confesses, because I thought about it, and my platform is about finding out reasoning behind decision making, and so I attempted to look to see who Crystal was on a human level, and understand why she made the decision that she made. So
it's really extraordinary. Well, Katerina, thank you so much for sharing this with us. It is quite the scoop. Katerina de Pasquale and Gene Casares, thank you for your time as well. We really appreciate it. Just an extraordinary story.
Now, that is incredible. That is incredible, bro. Even though, like I said, they were exonerated of the whole situation, the fact that some people still think you did it, and maybe she was pressured, and even now, just that it just took for someone to say, I want to interview you, for her to say, I made it up, I apologize, so on and so forth. People do find God, they do find religion, especially in prison, and they want to forgive. Even though she's about to be released, they want to forgive and maybe start with a new slate after they paid their debt to society. And maybe that's just what she did. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Much blessings and abundance. Stick around for the next videos. It's going to pop up on the screen below. That's where I'm going to see you guys at. It's your favorite everything. This is Wisdom. I'm the best. Let's run it up to 1 million. Quit playing with me. Peace.